Hey y'all, I'm outside right now, so if you hear any noise in the background, it's just nature and people doing as they do. But right now, I'm in the mood to make a rant. This rant was a long time coming because this video just baffled me, confused me, and left me utterly bamboozled in every way imaginable, and I just had to talk about it because of just how nonsensical it was. The video in question was the death battle of Popeye versus Saitama, where someone seems to think it didn't really age all that well, and they believe that Saitama should have won. I heavily disagree. I think Death Battle kind of, sort of, did pretty well in explaining why Popeye would win. On the side of Saitama, I can see why some would have some issues, but one thing to note is that this death battle came out at a time before some information came out that we knew now. So it's really hard to kind of review this video without the knowledge of foresight if you've read up to the current chapters of the manga. One thing that I want us all to keep in mind is that this death battle came out December 20th, 2021. All right? We got that in mind? Keeping that in mind? All right, let's get into it.
Well, I guess you could say that fight was over easy. Wait, except isn't Saitama's whole gag that he can't lose?
It is, but it's more nuanced than that. Despite breaking his limiter, Saitama's strength isn't limitless. He's...
Ooh, this didn't age well. Oh, this didn't age well.
Said so himself. Breaking his limiter meant his potential strength was likely infinite, but there's nothing left in his world powerful enough to push him to get stronger, like a bodybuilder stuck with 5-pound dumbbells.
He also doesn't possess some magical ability to kill someone in one punch regardless of effort. Powerful adversaries like Boros and Garo have survived his blows repeatedly, albeit briefly, and he's never met anyone quite like Popeye the Sailor Man.
Ew, this didn't age well at all. Oh, man.
Catchphrase of the video, everyone. That didn't age well at all. And for this first section, I kind of actually have to agree it didn't age well. But again, that's arguing with foresight or hindsight in mind because we have updated chapters of future events. So that's why I said initially it's really hard to try to say that this video aged poorly when Death Battle just didn't have information at the time. But for the sake of saying it, I kind of have to say Saitama is a bit of both. It's a bit of a yes and a no, where it does say that he is constantly growing and that his growth just goes unobserved. So he is always forever growing, but he also does require strong bursts of emotions, or when he does get strong bursts of emotions, his strength can grow exponentially faster than it does usually. So he is always growing, but he just needs that burst of emotion. I guess you could say, that thrill for a fight that he's always looking for. But even then, when he gets that thrill, it only lasts for a short amount of time because eventually his strength is going to overtake his opponent's strength, and then he just goes back to being bored. Or at least that's how I interpret his strength to work, given what I know now. But when you really think about it, if Saitama's strength really is infinite, then why the hell does he constantly need to grow? Like, that seems kind of paradoxical to me, right? Like, if you really already were at the very, very maximum, you already had that infinite strength, then it would just be infinite from jump. Perfect example, the golden rotation and the nail bullet via Tusk Act 4. That has been stated multiple times that the golden rotation is infinite energy. You obtain it, you get that, Johnny, he shoots that bullet. He is shooting you with a bullet that is packed with straight up infinite energy. It doesn't get any more than that. It doesn't get any less. It's infinite. But Saitama, on the other hand, he has to grow. Like, is that really infinite? Like, I think Death Battle actually might have been cooking. So actually, no. Maybe Death Battle didn't age. Maybe they were actually fucking onto something. Saitama does have to grow. He doesn't have a limit to how far he can grow, but he does constantly grow. And he does need someone to trigger a surge of emotions in order to make him grow.
I did a video on this explaining the timeline of this information. Around the time Saitama said that he can't get any stronger, that he's at the maximum, this website was already out, showcasing that his strength literally had the infinity symbol by it. So y'all, that, and truth be told, a year ago I wasn't even aware of this website. I was not aware that it had come out. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it. This is pretty recent for me. So this shit didn't. Oh my Jesus. Oh yeah. People don't understand what it means for a character like Saitama to be at the maximum from the very beginning and not have a limiter on top of that. That will literally give you infinite strength off the jump. But on top of that, they said that sometimes I'm gonna need somebody to push him. That also didn't age well.
Okay, so here's the stand stats for Made in Heaven. Notice how its speed is infinite, so clearly Made in Heaven has infinite speed.
They said that Saitama needed somebody to push him to make him stronger. That's completely false. Jesus, that death battle video it didn't age well at all, bro. It didn't age well at all. Saitama doesn't need anybody to push him. He's constantly growing in strength. I tell people constantly that the creator switches up information constantly. One Punch Man got way too many retcons to it, bro.
Remember when I said to keep in mind that the death battle came out December 20th, 2021? Guess what? Saitama and Garo didn't start fighting until fucking 2022. Like, what are we doing? Why are we bringing this up? Death battle literally didn't know this type of shit existed. We didn't know this type of shit existed. Why is this being brought up as a point of detractor for the side of Death Battle when literally no one could have known about this graph, this chart, or whatever? You know, that's what really pisses me off. That's like really what got my panties in a twist in this video. You're trying to bring up information that literally didn't fucking exist and then try to act like Death Battle should have known better. Like, this couldn't have aged at all because they didn't fucking know.
According to the mangaka, One Punch Man's gag is that Saitama is an anime protagonist at the end of his series, slapped in at the beginning of his series, where he's too strong to have a challenge.
So, if we know Saitama's strength does have a limit, what is it?
We know he can deflect Boros' plan.
It doesn't have a limit. It never did. It never did. It never did.
And at destroying glass, but he was clearly super casual about it. He may have called it his serious punch, but that's the joke. He's only now getting kind of serious.
In order to get as generous enough.
Oh yeah, and as for the Boros fight, he was holding back. If Saitama wanted the one-shot Boros, he could have easily annihilated him. Body and fucking soul. That would have been.
Hopefully he was just joshing here because no, Saitama can't affect the soul. He's never shown to be able to affect the soul. No feats showing he can affect the soul. At best, he can enter weird imaginary mental realms.
Nothing left of Boros. There'd have been nothing left. Y'all seen what this man did in the constant Fear Mode Garo battle. If this man wanted to annihilate Boros with one hit, there would have been nothing left. That weak ass regeneration factor. There wouldn't have been nothing left for Boros with that weak ass regeneration factor. That bullshit out of here. And as for Garo, if Saitama wanted to put Garo down, yet again, he could easily annihilated that man. Y'all seen that serious punch square. And even that serious punch square, what'd that say? Even if you were holding back a great deal, there is no way that you could have been outplayed by God. Dude, even with that bullshit, bro, even with the feats that he showcased, he was still holding back a great deal. Dog, that Skull Tap battle ain't age well at all. It didn't age well.
Our catchphrase again. But also, I'm really not sure what he's kind of getting at because he showed the graph and then immediately tries to say Saitama was holding back when that literally wasn't the case. He only got to the point where he could probably afford to hold back when his power eventually eclipsed Garo's power. Beforehand, both of them were basically going at it, one at a time. But slowly it became obvious to Garo, like he couldn't do anything. Like his power was being surpassed, and that was the big fucking reveal of Saitama's strength. He's always fucking growing. He's always going to surpass you. So again, he's not infinite strength if he has to fucking grow, in my opinion. And so that's kind of like the thing that I'm adopting now for the rest of this video. So I am now at a firm stance that Saitama's not even fucking infinite. He just has infinite fucking potential. So where if you don't one-shot him from the jump, then he's eventually going to grow to where he can overpower you, and essentially anything you throw at him is just going to be like, throwing shit at a brick wall. It's not going to work. It's a brick wall, right? So that's basically how I'm seeing it more and more. Saitama's strength firmly isn't infinite. It's just his potential. So that website that he showed earlier is really stupid. And I really think back in the day, it was more so just kind of like a funny haha gag thing. But even more so, I'm thinking it's a funny haha gag thing and that we can just fully dismiss it entirely because it's not making any extra cases. He's not really adding on anything. And even then, I feel like that's kind of like contradicting itself too, right? Like Geno says, oh yeah, even if you were holding a great deal, he wasn't going to be outplayed because his power had to grow to be greater than Garo's. If it wasn't for that fact, then like Saitama could have been outplayed, I believe, even if he wasn't holding back. Like, come on. Because even if he wasn't holding back, and then Garo just copied his power of, okay, this is what he's like when he's not holding back. Let me just copy it and whoop his ass and let my own power grow. Like, no, Saitama specifically needed to have the ability to exponentially grow greater than Garo's own growth. Otherwise, Garo clearly would have overtaken him and killed him.
Here they are trying to calculate his strength, claiming that he has a limit to. Oh my Jesus, this is so bad.
As possible, let's assume Saitama was exerting the least amount of effort he could to throw that punch. Since he's still technically a human, we can assume the ratio between the least amount of effort possible and the most is relatively consistent with other humans. Let's just say he burned the equivalent of only 1 calorie relative to the strongest punch ever recorded, which was over 1,000 joules. For reference, the average person burns about 1 calorie a minute doing absolutely nothing. So this is assuming Saitama is literally as casual as physically possible.
That'd make his strongest punch about 200 times greater than his weakest. Using Boros' energy blast as a base, Saitama's theoretical.
Well, at least they admit, please note that by design, it is impossible to determine the exact upper limits of Saitama. He doesn't have upper limits. There is none. That is not the primary purpose of this particular calculation.
The strongest punch would be over 11 Yoda tons of TNT. That's absolutely insane. Enough to annihilate Uranus 4 times over.
Well, that's impressive, but that's still far less than Popeye's star-busting power, which was millions of times greater. Sure, this is only an estimate. We don't know Saitama's full strength exactly, but the point is, whatever it may be, it can be measured.
That's right, but trying to compare them with just numbers is...
No, it can't be measured. There is no full power. His strength literally is, it's literally infinite, and on top of that, it's infinitely growing. On top of that, there's, oh my Jesus, this video ain't aged well at all.
Alright, so one more time for the people in the back in case they didn't quite catch it the first time, but Saitama's strength is not infinite. Only his ability to grow and get stronger is infinite. And because of this, and because of how intertwined it is with his actual strength, it seemingly does give him infinite strength. But the only reason Why it's that way is because he has to grow to that point first. He's not automatically just like, oh yeah, I think I can one shot a universe, and then he just does it. Like, clearly, he has to grow to that point first. Otherwise, the Serious Punch Squared and that entire Cosmic Fear Garo fight, it wouldn't have mattered. He would have just been able to live up to the gag of One Punch Man and one shotting him. But he can't. Why? Because he needed to grow to that level. Like, if you really just read and start putting two and two together, especially with this new information that comes out, Saitama clearly isn't as much of a gag character as people really try to make him out to be. It's all just pure wank, pure cope, pure, I don't know, just name fallacy. Like, he's called One Punch Man, so he must one punch.
The whole story.
While Saitama can break his world fairly easily, it's still a semi-realistic world that generally obeys the laws of physics.
Popeye in his world, on the other hand, can't really be measured.
Despite breaking his limiter and achieving unimaginable power, Saitama still suffers from some extreme human weaknesses that Popeye does not. For example, unlike Popeye, Saitama could not survive deep space for an indefinite period as he requires oxygen. Oh Jesus, this ain't age well at all. I would tell them they need to do it, but they only go off of feats. They don't intake all the other information. And the people who are doing the research on One Punch Man, they're not gonna actually understand the information properly. So even if they do this matchup, they're gonna make it to where, because they don't understand the information properly, Saitama is gonna be basically nerfed in that video, and he's gonna take another L if he's facing somebody like Popeye. This, oh man, Saitama doesn't need to breathe in space. People don't understand what removing the limiter actually fully entails. So Saitama, I'm gonna do a separate video on that. It's gonna be in my understanding Saitama and how powerful he is series. So I'm definitely gonna be putting that in that bitch. It's the perfect time.
This bitch.
I'm sorry, what? Death Battle doesn't take all information into account? So Kratos versus Ashura didn't take Kratos' lore into account when trying to figure out how strong he was? Death Battle didn't use data books in Madara versus Aizen for both fucking characters? This bitch, I'm sorry, but that meme in the beginning was just it all how I felt in that one instance just hearing that. This bitch, how can you just say that? If I don't know, have you been watching Death Battle for not very long? Is you are half stupid? And don't think I didn't catch the part where you talking about all they do is feats. Like, what the fuck else are they supposed to do? Head cannons? Make up absolute bullshit like you're doing? Like, hello? We're not No Limits Fallacy channel. We're Death Battle. You know, we look at both characters. We look at everything that they have displayed via on screen, on page, in game, and if they have lore background, they will look into it if they do deem it relevant. Obviously, the fact that they didn't use this website, which I'm pretty sure they would also be aware existed, clearly they didn't deem it relevant enough to be used in this Death Battle. Like, that has to be the most ignorant thing you could have ever said about Death Battle. No, their research and scaling isn't 100%. Yes, Aizen should have absolutely slapped Madara's ass, but still, that is the most ignorant thing anyone could have ever said about Death Battle. Saying that they don't try to do research or don't try to take everything into account is so blatantly wrong on so many, and false too. Just wrong, false, an outright fucking lie. Oh my gosh. This didn't age well at all.
This man literally created Saitama, designed him to show up and punch the problem away. All I have to do is have him show up to punch the problem away. Thinking of a plot that involved a lot of thinking and cleverness for the main character to get over any obstacle. Thinking of a plot that involved a lot of thinking and cleverness for the main character to get over any obstacle requires a lot of experiences and knowledge. So I think it's a bit too hard for me. In Saitama's case, all I have to do is have him show up to punch the problem away. Dude, Popeye wouldn't be able to come back if Saitama snuffed his ass out, bro. There is nothing normal about Saitama punches. It ain't just overwhelming power he's attacking you with, bro. This shit is just unfairness reincarnated. These punches ain't normal. These punches ain't normal.
Just a couple of brief examples of Popeye's fist totally being normal, by the way, because obviously Popeye's fists aren't normal, and obviously Death Battle brought up how normal his fists absolutely are, as if they don't just seem to turn anything he punches back into the base components of what he just punched. Like, the fuck? And then he tries to further justify the strength of Popeye by bringing up author statements. Author statements. In 2025 or 2024, we're bringing up author statements and trying to cite them as credible for shit that's happened again in the future. These author statements came out when they're relevant to the story. How? He doesn't explain. So it's just total bullshit. Like, again, this is how not to defend your character. Don't explain anything. Bring up evidence that really doesn't matter. Bring up evidence that didn't exist at the time. Just completely nonsensical, non-logical arguments. Okay? Are we taking notes? Honestly, I'm not a good teacher. I'm really not I'm not a good teacher. I forgot to tell you to take notes, I forgot to remind everyone this is what not to do. You have to actually give reason for why the evidence you are bringing up for the character you are arguing in favor for actually matters. None of these author statements matter because these statements were made way back when, in 12, what the fuck ever, I don't know. It's really, again, it's a non-factor to the argument is what I'm getting at. But he's bringing it up and trying to make it like it is a factor, but he doesn't exactly explain how. And if he does, and the explanation that he did give doesn't matter, it really can't be applied to the battle. Because the whole point of Death Battles is we're taking these characters, putting them in neutral settings, giving them all of their feats, measuring their level of feats and strengths, and then just making them fight. Author statements don't matter unless it actually gives substantial and substantial what am I trying to get at? It unless it actually gives substantial information that can change and affect the story, like Oda coming out and constantly confirming that Kizaru is light speed. And another thing that he fails to do is exactly counter or debunk how any of how any of Popeye's feats would fail to affect Saitama. Like, he claims, oh, well, because Saitama hasn't actually gone against this power, you can't say it would work on him. Like, huh? Whoa, hang on. I wish for every DBZ fan, every DBZ tard, every Goku wanker could have, used that argument. Like, oh my gosh, you are just, oh my God. That kind of line of reasoning, oh, this didn't age well at all. This truly did not age well at all. And I'll show you the clip where he says it too, just so you could hear how stupid this guy is.
Well, he hasn't showcased it. Therefore, I believe he doesn't have a way of doing this and this and that. It's whatever.
All right, Goku Tards, you heard it here. It looks like we all owe you an apology. All those times we said Sailor Moon would whoop his ass because of hacks. All those times we said Saint Seiya would whoop his ass because of hacks and because Goku has no way of surviving or tanking being erased from existence, or because he had no way of, surviving having his soul destroyed or having his mind raped and all of that good shit. We deeply owe all you Goku fans an apology because it was wrong of us to just assume Goku would have a way to survive all that shit, despite never actually being shown to survive it. But it's whatever, though.
At all. The dude's occupied two places at the same time.
And just to wrap it all off, I also want to mention the fact that Popeye will always forever be faster than Saitama. By Death Battle's own words, Popeye can occupy two spaces at once simultaneously. This means Popeye is not bound by the linear flow of time. So, according to Death Battle, this means Popeye has immeasurable speed. And from that gif alone and the fact that he was punching and hit himself, this means he has immeasurable combat speed, which means this dude is as fast as the fucking Flash from DC. Like, what? And we're really trying to say Saitama can beat him? Man, get the fuck out of here. Why give up? I officially label you as a Saitama wanker and a kitchen burn downer because you cannot cook. Get out the kitchen, please.